On the peace front, President Trump helped deliver an immediate and unconditional ceasefire between Thailand and Cambodia. The two countries were engaged in a deadly conflict that had displaced more than 300,000 people until President Trump stepped in to put an end to it. The president spoke directly on the phone with the acting Prime Minister of Thailand and the Prime Minister of Cambodia to inform both leaders that unless they brought their conflict to an end, there would be no trade discussions or agreements with the United States. Almost immediately afterward, a peace was brokered that will save thousands of lives and allowed for trade negotiations with these countries to resume, and they have. The president has now ended conflicts between Thailand and Cambodia, Israel and Iran, Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, India and Pakistan, Serbia and Kosovo, and Egypt and Ethiopia. This means President Trump has brokered, on average, about one peace deal or ceasefire per month during his 6 months in office. It's well past time that President Trump was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize.
Now, the last week has been enormous in foreign policy and in trade deals. We saw the massive deal with Japan, then the EU deal, which again shocked so many people. It seemed to just be win after win for the US. Is this Trump's best week of his second term?
He's had several good ones, Rita, but it's got to be a contender. I mean, that EU deal was stunning. Here in America, the press is kind of mocking Trump. He's going to Scotland to go golfing. Well, he walks away with this incredible trade deal with the European Union. I mean, it's a fantastic deal. And yeah, he's having a very good week. There's no doubt about it.
Now, this economic news isn't going to please Donald Trump, the White House. Earlier today, the Federal Reserve decided to keep its benchmark interest rate unchanged. Jerome Powell is proving to be a thorn on the side of this administration. How do you see that relationship going forward?
Well, it's interesting, Rita, because two members of the Open Market Committee dissented and voted against the chairman here. That's the first time that has happened since 1993. Wow. So what Powell is doing is definitely controversial. You know, he says he's concerned about inflation, especially he's worried that the tariffs might create inflation. You know, that's just wrong. Tariffs cannot cause inflation. They don't increase the money supply. You'll see selective increases in the prices of certain products. That'll depress the demand for those products to some extent, and some consumers will choose to buy other products instead. That is not inflation. And so it's hard to avoid the feeling that Powell is really trying to be a thorn in Trump's side, but I don't think it's going to last. I think before the end of the year, we're going to see the Fed cutting interest rates.
Now, before you go, we've heard that White House envoy Steve Witkoff is off to Israel. This is the first trip in almost 3 months for him. One US official told Axios the president wants to know more about what the humanitarian situation in Gaza is in order to know how to get more assistance to civilians in Gaza. John, how significant is this trip and what assurances will Witkoff be seeking?
Well, first of all, Donald Trump is a staunch ally of Israel, and that has not changed. I think what's going on here is that Witkoff wants to check out the situation in Gaza, where there's talk about starvation and so on, investigate it. And I think he's going to come back and report that the problem is being caused by Hamas. Hamas keeps shooting people who are trying to distribute food or trying to receive food. That's the problem, and I think that's what he is going to report to President Trump.
So you don't see any fracturing of that relationship between America and Israel?
I'm pretty sure not, Rita. I mean, Donald Trump is a solid ally of Israel. Mike Huckabee, the ambassador, was quoted on that earlier today. He said there is no daylight, there is no change in the relationship. It remains as strong as ever.
John Heinderreicher, we always love having you on this program. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you, Rita.